There we go. So he's, so anyone who believes Mashiach, who comes to Mashiach, um, you know, they become the shepherds of the sheep. So when we go here to Isaiah 49, chapter 49, and I'm just laying down some foundation, like for we're going to be doing. Isaiah 49, verse 6. Isaiah 49, verse 6. Again, ESV. And a lot of times I will encourage everyone that, that will come on. I definitely will encourage everyone to grab a Brenton Septuagint. It's extremely important in studying, because of course, it comes way before the Masoretic text. It comes before any of these KJVs, ESVs, or anything of that nature. The Septuagint was written way before all of those things. It's closer to the scrolls. So I personally will encourage anyone to grab Brenton Septuagint, because I definitely study from it a lot. We read from it a lot, and of course it's basically the so-called Old Testament, right? From Genesis to Malachi, and it also has the 14 books of the Apocrypha as well in there, because that's all the Old Testament. So I would definitely encourage to grab one of those, because there's things you will read in the Septuagint that will that you don't see in the Masoretic text at all, and it does help with that, with gaining that wisdom and knowledge, as far as what the Most High desires for His people going forward. Say that again.
Type in the chat for instant tubes.
Oh, let me see. Let me Brenton's. You can just you can pick them up online. Amazon sells them. So, but it's very good in in going forward and researching our studies as well. But going to Isaiah 49:6 again, and land backing off of what we just read as far as um being the shepherds of the sheep being Yasharal. And again, we'll tap into that, because a lot of our people, especially even our waking people, will say, well, is it really just about Israel? Why are you excluding everyone else? And it's not that we are excluding everyone else. This is what the text says. Everything that we say, everything that we believe, this is what the text is saying. It's not what I'm saying or another brother or sister is saying. This is what the text says. And we can go back in Matthew 15:24, where he says he has only come for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So everything, this entire book is all about you. It is all about Yashara'al. It is all about how we get back to the Father based on the lives and how he dealt with our people in ancient times. It's like I was telling Jax, because Jax, at one point he was really big on knowing his family and knowing his family history and things and that. And I said, this is a beautiful thing. But when the Most High woke us up, I was like, guess what? This is your family history right here. You know what I mean? This is our history. This is our history. These are our people, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then how we get back to in good graces with the Most High. So, but anyway, Isaiah 49:6, again, land backing off of being shepherds of the sheep. The text says, it is too light a thing that you should be my servant to do what? To raise up the tribes of Jacob and to bring back the preserved of Israel. Right? So he doesn't say to raise up everybody in the world. Right? He doesn't say to raise up the world. He doesn't say to raise up the other nations. He says, too light thing that you should be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to bring back the preserved of Yashara'am, right? And then he says, I will make you as a light for the nations, that my salvation may reach to the end of the earth. So as we're waking up, as we're being those leaders and those shepherds of our people, the Most High will make us as a light unto the nations. He makes us as a light to the nations. And there's a text that says that I know it's in John, and I always quote it. I want to say John, is it 13?
No, we're talking about two camp. We're gonna take on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know what it says. I just can't remember where it is. It's in
Yeah,
John.
exactly.
He says that they will know that you are my disciples. And Amashiach is saying, he says, they will know that you are my disciples by the love you have for one another. So again, as we have come to know Mashiach, right? We become the shepherds of our people, of our own people. We become the shepherds of our own people as we know and we sit with Mashiach. 13. Yeah, I knew it was 13.
Yeah.
Yes. See, yes, that's where it's John 13, 35. John 13. Yeah, John 13. Thank you, Don, for that. 34 and 35. John 13, 34 and 35. And it reads, and this is again red letter, Mashiach speaking. A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. Okay, so Mashiach is telling his people, Yashara'am. Again, he says in Matthew 15:24, I have only come for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And these are his words. I have only come, only for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, right? And then so when he's speaking, he is speaking to his nation. He's speaking to his people. And at the time where he's speaking, it was just Judah in captivity under the Roman Empire, right? But he's speaking to his nation, his people. And he says, verse 34, a new commandment I give to you, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. You also are to love one another, right? So again, we know we as so-called Black people, we treat each other the worst. We treat each other worse than any other nation, right? Because a lot of times we'll be in the street and say hello to one of our people, see our peoples, we nod, this and that, say hello. They don't say hello back. You look at you strange, this and that, whatever. But yet, if they go out there and they pass by, a white person or this and that, whatever, they'll make sure to say hello, right? And this is how we are as people. But we know why it is. It's because of the curses, the curses that we entered into because of disobedience. But that's another topic. So just to finish off, so verse 35, he says, by this, all people, he says, so when you're loving one another, when you are loving one another, he says, verse 35, by this, all people will know that you are my disciples if you have love for one another. You see what I'm saying? So honestly, it's not about making yourself a light. It's not about that. It's not about making yourself a light, because he told us in Isaiah 49:6, if you look to restore the tribes of Yaqub, if you love one another, right, that in and of itself will show the other nations that you are a light. He says, if you have love for one to another, he says, by this, all people, he says, all people will know that you are my disciples, right? So when we are doing, basically being obedient to the Father, just living by every word that proceeds out of his mouth, right? Being a set apart people. Again, and that I can't stress enough. We have to be set apart. I mean, there's many things that we have been taught in this construct on what to do and how to do and everything that we've been taught in this construct, in captivity. Remember, we're in captivity. We're under our enemies, vices. We're in captivity. So everything being taught to us, and we can read this in the text throughout all of the captivities. Everything being taught to us is apart from the Father. Is apart from the Father. So most of everything that we've been taught coming up, whether it's school, Christianity, whatever it is, it definitely has pagan roots. Every single thing that we've been taught. Remember, we're in captivity. We are in our enemies' lands. They have nothing to do with the Father. Nothing at all. And this is what we've come up in. A brother, did a lesson a couple of weeks ago saying that, we were basically born in darkness. We were born in darkness. If you were born in captivity, guess what? You were born in darkness. And again, everything that we've been taught is pagan. So, when we come to Mashiach, when the Most High awakened us and showed us not only who we are, but really whose we are, that we are his. Not everybody is his. Not everybody is his nation. And we can read that in the text as well. Deuteronomy chapter 7. Not everybody is his, but now he's calling us back. So we need to get back with him. Just as he is set apart, he desires for us to be set apart. Right? He desires for us to be, and let's go there. Let's go Jeremiah real quick. Jeremiah. And this is, like I said, this is just a foundation of, what it is we would like to do, or we're supposed to do as a people. And, a lot of people use this text, of course, to speak against, we call them the holidays of these nations. Because we already know there's, all of the holidays, this and that, whatever these nations, celebrate. They're all pagan. Again, they're all pagan. We're in the midst of captivity. We're amongst our enemies. They're all pagan. They have nothing to do with the Most High. Absolutely nothing. If we knew some of the festivities and the traditions and all these things that these people were doing during these times that people celebrate, it honestly would make your head spin. If you go back and you do your research and you find out the foundations of a lot of where these, pagan holidays come from, all of them stem back to Nimrod and Semiramis and what was the son's name? Tammuz. All of it stems back to there. Like I said, we can go back, like, again, with even Christmas, December 25th, they'd say, oh, that's, Messiah's birthday. No, it is not. It was actually, I believe it was the birth of Nimrod. It's either Nimrod or Tammuz, one of the two. You see what I'm saying? So again, all of them, every single thing that we can imagine that we have been taught what to do is rooted in paganism, which is frowned upon by the Most High. Frowned upon. That's actually the biggest thing that got us into captivity, into these curses, was idolatry. See what I'm saying? But again, Jeremiah 10, starting at verse 1. And again, I'm reading out ESV. Hear the word that Yahweh speaks to you, O house of Yashrael. Thus says Yah, learn not the way of the nations. All right. Learn not the way of the nations. I can stop it right there and then go into verse 3 where he says, for the customs of the people are vanity. And you could just end it right there. And then it goes into the tree and all the other stuff, as far as, what we know of Christmas. But he says, learn not the way of the nations. right? In verse 3, for the customs of the peoples are vanity. Vanity. They are nothing. They have nothing to do with the Most High. And that's when you have to, when you see things like this, that's when you have to, you know, I think in Proverbs, there's another text that talks about, you know, envy not your oppressor or something like that, and choose none of his ways. You know what I mean? So again, who are our oppressors? The other nations. And we can't just say, you know, Europeans, white people, this and that, whatever. It's all of the other nations. Every single last one of them. Guess what? We were captive to every single nation. Because of our disobedience. And the Most High he's chosen no other nation but us. So it's up to us to listen. Remember, there's no one else is in sin. No other nation is in sin. The only ones that are in sin is Yasharal. We are the only ones that have sinned against the Most High. That's why we are at the bottom of the pole, if you will. That's why we are under everybody's foot. And I know, you know, some of us, we've heard this before, but, you know, we always have to be reminded, and we have other people that are new that have come on, but we have to be reminded of these things. This is the reason why we deal and why we have dealt with so much nonsense, is because our people have disobeyed the laws of the Most High. You know, because honestly, that was one of the questions. I remember my brother coming to me some years back, and, you know, something that happened to him at work where I can't remember exactly what it was, but it had something to do with, you know, some type of racist comment or something like that or whatever in his office. And I remember he came to me and was just, you know, kind of crying and was like, man, you know, why? He said, we haven't done anything to anybody, man. Why we have to go through this? Why everybody hates us? This, not whatever. And I remember at the time he had asked his then girlfriend, and she told him, she basically said to him, you know, the only thing we see of, and she's, you know, she's of another nation. And she said, the only thing we see of Black people in our country, and, you know, in a lot of countries around the world, the only thing we see of them is, you know, they're thieves and robbers and this and that, this, da, 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 right? But now, you know, fast forwarding, now we see, because we are the people of the Most High, we have sinned against the Most High, and the Most High has brought about these curses upon. Well, he told us that we were going to be a cursed people if we disobeyed him, and we disobeyed him, and basically the curses fell upon us. So this is the reason why we hate it. And then Mashiach goes and says in Matthew, was that 24, and you shall be what? Hated of all nations for my name's sake. So if he was talking to everybody, if he was talking to every nation on the face of the earth, why is it that so-called Black people are the only ones dealing with all this nonsense? Why is it that we are the only ones that have had our, people's foot on our neck for so many years? Because Mashiach, Yahushua, the Messiah, he was not talking to everybody. Again, he says, I've only come for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He was only talking to his people when he said, you shall be hated of all nations for my namesake. And who are the only people on earth that are literally hated for no reason? It is only us. So it is up to us now to learn, and, you know, I should say to relearn, to again truly be those set apart people that the Most High has called us to be, and be those shepherds of the sheep, so that when we are, you know, not in the midst of fellowship, but, you know, maybe at work or at school or just out in the street or wherever, we are exhibiting the righteousness of the Most High in word and in deed. And the reason why I say that, I was just talking to Marsha this earlier. The reason why I say that, I said, you know, one of the things the Most High placed upon my heart is, You don't have to know that someone is watching you. You don't have to know that. But the world in and of itself is watching. Our people who have not yet awakened, they are watching. Because as this world continues to get darker and darker and darker, because again, we know in Christianity, the big thing is everything is going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right, and you're not going to be sick, and you shouldn't be sick, and all this, and you're not going, you shouldn't have any troubles, and all of these things, such and such and such. Again, not scripture, not scripture, because again, it's not talking about everyone. All right, we are under these curses. And the text tells you in Zechariah 14, if you read the Septuagint, it's not going to say it in the Masoretic text. It's not going to tell you in the KJV. It's not going to say it in the ESV or the NIV or any other text. It's only going to tell you this in the Septuagint, again, which is the previous text from way, way back. Zechariah 14, I believe it is, yeah. Hmm? Yeah, it's right there. It's easier to look. It's easy to look. And actually you can see the Brenton Septuagint if you go into Bible Hub, if you get the Bible Hub app. If you get the Bible Hub app and you make sure you have a Old Testament scripture highlighted. There's 3 hamburgers, I would say 3 lines on the right of that. And you can scroll through the different translations of the Bible. And the Septuagint will be one of them. And you can go online too, is the internet. You do it too, BibleHub.com. Again, make sure you have a Old Testament scripture highlighted. You hit the 3 hamburgers, the 3 lines on the right. It will bring up the different translations of the Bible, and you will see Brenton Septuagint in there. See Brenton Septuagint in there. And it's a beautiful thing, because I remember when I had first met we had first met Ashley, Dez's wife. We had first met Ashley. She would mention the Septuagint all the time. I actually, prior to that, I had never really, I heard about it, but I had never really read it. And once she mentioned it, I started looking into it. And then from that point, we started, with the Bible study with Danny and stuff, we started reading it more and more and more. And I could see a lot of the discrepancies and all of that thing that Masoretic doesn't touch on, that the Septuagint will definitely enlighten. So it's definitely one of those things we need to get. But Zechariah 14. I'm doing this all on the fly, y'all. This is, like I said, there's nothing written down. All of this, most I just downloading. And where did I have it? Do you remember what verse that was about the
How you know it's organic God when it's downloaded like that up and fly? So you know that's the Most High.
Yeah.
praise Yah, all praises, most definitely. And that's how it should be, man, all the time with any of us, man. Yeah, so if you look at Zechariah 14, which one you said, 8, right, or 9?
I'd say
I should have 9.
or 6. You want to get like
Okay.
it's talking about all that.
Just to
Don't
get a
have numbers
full,
like that. Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
it's a Zechariah 14 out of the Septuagint, just to get a fullness for what the Most High is saying. And again, this is, and he's speaking about the end. He's speaking about the end of all of this, the end of captivity, all these things. He comes back, when he comes back for his people, right? Zechariah 14, starting at verse 6. And it says, and it shall come to pass in that day. And again, when you read this, if you see, it's not going to be in the Masoretic when we read this. So it's Zechariah 14, starting at verse 6, and it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that there shall be no light, and there shall be for one day cold and frost. Somebody's being there, okay. Where I stop off. Verse 7, and there shall be for 1 day cold and frost, and that day shall be known to Yah. And it shall not be day nor night, but towards evening it shall be light. Verse 8, and in that day living water shall come forth out of Yarowashalam, or Jerusalem, half of it toward the former sea, and half of it toward the latter sea, and so shall it be in summer and spring. Verse 9, and Yah shall be king over all the earth. And that's something else we're going to touch on too. And Yah shall be king over all the earth. In that day there shall be one Adonai, or master, and his name one, right? So that Lord, that's what that Lord is, master. In the Hebrew is Adonai. Verse 10, compassing all the earth and the wilderness from Gaba unto Rimmon, south of Yarowashalam. And Ramah shall remain in its place from the gate of Benjamin to the place of the first gate, to the gate of the corners, and to the tower of Anamil, as far as the king wine presses. Right? So here it is, verse 11. They shall dwell in the city, and there shall be no more any curse, and Jerusalem shall dwell securely. Okay? So for any brew that wants to say that we're no longer under the curses and this and that because the Most High has woken us up, that is not the truth. We are still cursed. We're still being killed out here in these streets. We're still being oppressed. We're still being looked upon as the scum of the earth. We are still, just because the Most High woke us up does not negate that we are still under these curses. Now, with that being said, we know what we need to do. Okay? The Most High has requirements for us. He wants us to get back to these laws, statutes, commandments. I mean, he said it from the very beginning. Again, 2 Chronicles 7:14, right? If my people who are called by my name shall what? First, humble themselves, pray, seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways. Again, speaking about, being set apart. We cannot be set apart and still be doing the things of the world. You can't. The things of the world are stained. They're pagan in origin. And again, we cannot be calling good evil and evil good. We can't say if it's evil from the beginning, guess what? It's still evil. If it's wicked from the beginning, guess what? It is still wicked. We can't put no spin on it and say that, well, we're going to do it for the Most High and this and that, whatever, and call it good. We can't do that. We ain't got no power to do that. We have to remain set apart. If that means not doing some things that your family is doing or other people are doing this now, whatever, then that's exactly what that means. That's what we have to do. That's what we're called to do, to be as a people. Because I always say the Most High is extremely meticulous. When you read some of the things that he was setting in place and some of the things that he was telling our people, in that desert in the ancient times after coming out of Egypt, I mean, he is very meticulous. He knows exactly what he wants. He says what he means and he means what he says. That's why the text tells you don't take from or add to. He doesn't want us to take from his word or add to his word. His word is what it is. And if we're living by every word that proceeds out of his mouth, that's exactly what we need to do. That's exactly what we need to do. So let me see, go back in here. So again, verse 11, Zechariah 14, out of the Septuagint, again, you will not see it in the Masoretic text. You won't see it in the other text. They shall dwell in the city, and there shall be no more any curse. And Jerusalem shall dwell securely. And this is in the times of the end, when the Most High has us dwelling securely. Are we dwelling securely right now?
On the land.
None of us can say that we're dwelling securely. Not one of us. We still beat down. So if that's the case, then the curse is still upon us. And then to further that, let's go to Revelation toward the very end of the book. Revelation. So, yeah, Revelation 22. Revelation 22. I'm going to start the first verse context. And again, Revelation 22, this is the very end. This is the kingdom, the kingdom that's coming down. The kingdom is coming down, and the Most High has gone through our people, passed us up under the rod, and and hopefully, Yah willing, we're ready to receive the crown of life and go into the kingdom to dwell with our Father. And so this is the end, Revelations 22. So again, this is land backing off of what we just read, that in the end, the curse will be over. Revelation 22, first verse, starting at the first verse. Then the angel showed me the river of the water of life, bright as crystal, flowing from the throne of the Most High and of the Lamb through the middle of the street of the city. Also on either side of the river, the tree of life with its 12 kinds of fruit. 12 kinds of fruit. Yielding its fruit each month. The leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. Verse 3. No longer will there be anything accursed. No longer will there be anything accursed. Now, anybody have a KJV?
I have them right here.
Yeah, read verse 3.
It reads, there shall be no more curse, but the throne of Yah and the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him.
So it says, there will be no more curse. And this is the time of the end. There will be no more curse. Just like what we just read in Zechariah 14, where it says Jerusalem will dwell securely. And when he refers to Jerusalem, who is he referring to? When we read the text, he's referring to Yasharah, who also has their name upon him, just like the city. All right. So you have to mute it. You can't do it. So again, we are still under these curses, but we know what we need to do. We need to come back to the law, statutes, commandments. We need to take heed to the words that proceed out of the mouth of the Most High. We need to believe in Mashiach. And with that, we become the shepherds of the sheep. We become the shepherds unto our own people. And just like I was alluding to earlier, I was talking to Marsha about earlier, again, we don't have to know that someone is watching, but someone is always watching, because this world is getting darker and darker and darker and darker. As the time continues to ramp up, we know the Most High is bringing judgment upon the earth. And these demons are not happy. They know their time is coming short. These demons are not happy. Okay? Just like these demons knew who the Messiah was. When we read about the Messiah, those demons knew who he was. Guess what? You coming up and knowing who you are, these demons know who you are. That's what Revelations 12 is all about.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They know who you are. They know who you are. So they making it extra hard, and you got troubles on every side. You're going to have trials and tribulations and afflictions and all of these things. And again, The Most High didn't hide any of that stuff from us. Again, we are still under the curses. So we know that we're going to go through these things. And, you know, and again, we can do a whole fellowship just on Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 68. Right? To just understand exactly what it is we're dealing with. And then reading Jeremiah was that 17, 1 through 4, where it says, you know what, the Most High says, I'm going to remove you from the heritage which I gave you. So I know me coming up, I heard that so much that, black people, black people don't know who they are. They don't know where they come from. They don't know this. They don't know that. Boom, 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 boom. That's why they try to identify with everybody else's cultures, such and such and such. You know, ask a black person where they come from, and they're going to give you, they're going to say, Africa. Meanwhile, there's many countries in Africa. Right. But again, now knowing who we are, we know who we are. We know exactly who we are. And I'm not saying every single melanated person is Yasharal, because we know the Hamites are melanated as well. Right. The Hamites are melanated as well. We met Abraham had many children, the whole 9 yards. They were melanated. But there was only a promise given to a certain group, right? A covenant. I want to go over that one day as well. A covenant given to a certain line of people, right? Because again, Abraham himself, he wasn't Yasharal, he wasn't Israel, he didn't come from Jacob. He was Bru, Israelites. So Yasharal is named after Jacob. But again, I just wanted to lay a foundation of what we would like to kind of just establish just on this fellowship. Again, there's no hierarchy or this, now, whatever. If there's anything on anyone's heart, please speak it. Questions, whatever it is, just, please let it be known. We have everybody on here is studying the scripts. Everybody on here, I'm sure, prayerfully are being Bereans. Again, if you don't know who Berean is, I can't remember what book in Acts that is, but again, Bereans basically, Paul was speaking to them and ministering to them, and instead of taking Paul's word for what it was, they went back and remade sure that everything that Paul was saying was lining up with these scripts. So this is what we want to do. We want to make sure that everything that's being done, that everything that's being said, that everything that's being shared is lining up with the scripts. No going back and forth, everything being done in love. Again, I'm not here to project my convictions upon everybody. That's not what I do. I'm not here to project any doctrines or anything like that. This is not whatever. We are here to help to build the nation. That's what we're here to do. Point blank in the period. We're here to help to build the nation. So again, if I'm wrong on something, check me on it. But again, just like the text says, I believe it's in Peter, I think. I don't know, Peter and James, one of the two. He says, if a man speaks, let him speak as the oracles of the Most High. So every word, everything that comes forth has to come from the scripts. Okay, like my man Chris always says, chapter and verse. Chapter and verse. So whatever we pose, whatever we speak about, it has to be chapter and verse. And and we can sit and we can come and we can reason together with one another. We can, at times, we may have to agree to disagree, and that's fine. There's nothing in the text that says that Yasharal is going to come together and agree on everything. There's nothing in the text that says that, even though the text is speaking one thing to a nation of people, but still we have so much that has taken place in our lives in the midst of this captivity. A lot of that stuff gets jumbled. And again, we don't know our true heritage. We're grasping, we're seeking, we're asking, we're knocking, to the Most High to give us these things by His Spirit. And at times, we may be off. This is why you have some of our people, the names are different, the feast days are different, this and that, whatever. But I don't frown at any of that. You know what I mean? As long as you are seeking the Most High, as long as you revere Mashiach, Yahushua, whom the world calls Jesus, we good. That's a good enough foundation for me. And as long as, you doing everything, giving 150% to keep these law, statutes, and commandments, to keep it real, not only with yourself and not only with brother, but keep it real with the Most High. Because again, Psalm 51, David, said in the Psalm, in the prayer, he says, you desire truth on the inward part. So this is where we have to lay ourselves bare before the Most High. Be truthful with ourselves and being truthful with Him. This is where because the Most High is going to know. And again, just alluding to what I was saying earlier, as far as people are watching. We can be in fellowship and the whole 9 yards and having a good time and praising the Most High, this now whatever. But what are we doing outside of fellowship? What are we doing when we're not amongst our brothers and sisters who we fellowship with? What are our words and deeds? How are we acting? How are we reacting? And all of these things, are we projecting the righteousness of the Most High in the world, in the atmosphere? Because again, just the scenario that I gave earlier, I said, now what if you, outside, you're in the store, this or that, whatever, you're in the store and, pretty decent day, and you get into the store and then the situation that pops off or whatever, and all of a sudden, you just in your flesh and you getting lippy and you getting just beside yourself and cursing and this now whatever, or in the situation where you go out and your dress is kind of not becoming of a child of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be. And when I say dress, I mean like just kind of like you half dressed or whatever, you know what I mean? Like you're a person, you're it's not becoming of the Most High, and you're out in the store, you're out and about, and you just acting all types of crazy, and the whole nine is out in a way that you would not act or say or do in the midst of fellowship or in the midst of your brothers and sisters, right? So you do that, da 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 da. You think, okay, you're not thinking anything, nobody's seeing you, just now these around a bunch of people that you don't know, blah, 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 blah. But then you come to, you come to a fellowship, or you come into the midst of a congregation, the fellowship, and someone in that congregation just happened to be in the store that day. Right? And let's say that, and then let's say that they're not established back into the heritage. They're new coming back to the fold, right? They're new coming back to the fold. So they're relearning and, trying to subdue and humble themselves and this now, whatever. And now they've come to that fellowship and they recognize you. You're in the fellowship and you praising, your hands up, this now, whatever. You got a lot to say in the fellowship, da, 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 da. And mind you, this person is there and they witnessed what happened in that store or wherever you were, where all that stuff went down. They witnessed it. What happens to that person's, faith, or, not saying that we're supposed to put faith and trust in people, but what do you think that does? What does it do? It's like, I mean, for me personally, it would be like going back to church, because that's all I saw growing up. Honestly, that I'm telling you, that's all I saw growing up, between my personal family, outside family, external family, whatever, other people that we knew. That's all I saw growing up. It was one way in the midst of the congregation, but as soon as church, I kid you not, as soon as church was over, all types of street came out. All types of other stuff came out during the week in the whole 9 yards. You saw something completely different, completely different. And when honestly, when I was old enough, when I got older and didn't necessarily wasn't kind of dragged into church by my parents or whatever the case may be, when I got older, I said, I don't want this no more. I said, what am I coming here for? I said, what am I coming here for? Ain't no light in this place. Y'all doing and saying one thing and totally something different outside of that. And I continued to see that. And as a people of Yasharal, knowing that we are the people of the book, it has to be real for us. It has to be real for us. I see you, sis. It has to be that real for us to say we can't do that anymore. We cannot do that anymore. Go ahead, sis. I see you.
I wanted to say, do you think that us growing up in this Christian world, in the church as Black people, these behaviors that we take on, do you believe it's because we don't know who we are? And that's why we are one way from, 9 to 12, whenever churches started, and then we leave and we're someone else? Because that 9 to 12, you were indoctrinated to be this, but maybe it's not anything that's not true, you're going to misrepresent, when you leave. So do you believe it's because we are not sure who we are, where we were placed in this world? There's all that confusion. So you can go to church and then show up, a blonde, a redhead, a brunette, during Monday through Friday, and after church Sunday, because when you're not sure, you're playing a lot of roles, right? Instead of the main role.
Yes, and again, it starts even before church. All right, it starts even before. Let's do this. Let's go to Daniel chapter 9. Daniel 9. Daniel 9. And this is Daniel's prayer to the Most High. Matter of fact, my heading ESV says Daniel's prayer for his people. Because again, we ended up in church because of what we did before church. You know what I mean? So again, we'll touch on that, at some other point. I mean, most of us, in here know that we as a people, we turned our backs on the Most High. And again, he gave us curses that would happen, these things that would happen if we, didn't obey him. Right. So me personally, I never say that the Most High put these curses upon us. We basically walked into them. He didn't really put them on us. He told us what would happen if we disobeyed him. And again, his word does not, was that Isaiah 55? His word does not return void. It's going to accomplish exactly what he set forth for it to do. So he told us in Deuteronomy 28 and 15 through 68, what would happen to us if we disobeyed. And guess what? We disobeyed many, many, many times. I mean, Most High had some serious mercy upon us. We disobeyed him many, many times. And after a while, he just said, enough is enough. Right. And basically, we walked into these curses. We put them upon ourselves. But to answer this question, Daniel 9, and Daniel is praying. Well, you're going to see exactly what he's praying. Daniel 9, I'm starting at verse 3. And this is, again, to show that all of this pretty much, preempted Christianity. Verse 3, then I turned my face to Yah, our power, the Most High, seeking him by prayer and pleas for mercy with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. And again, just to preface this as well, this is Daniel. Daniel himself is in captivity in Babylon. He's in captivity in Babylon. All right. So again, we're in captivity now, but there have been many, we have been in captivity many times over. Many times. Just like, again, like I said, we were captive to pretty much every nation on the face of the earth. So this is Daniel in captivity, crying out to the Most High. Again, verse 3, then I turned my face to Yah, seeking him by prayer and pleas for mercy with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. I prayed to Yah, my power, and made confession, saying, O Yah, the great and awesome power, who keeps covenant and steadfast love with those who love him and keep his commandments. Verse 5, we have sinned and done wrong and acted wickedly and rebelled, turning aside from your commandments and rules. We have not listened to your servants, the prophets, who spoke in your name to our kings, our princes, and our fathers, and to all the people of the land. To you, O Yah, belongs righteousness, but to us open shame, as at this day to the men of Judah, to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and to all Yashara'al. So again, he's only speaking to one nation of people, not everybody. It says, those who are near and those who are far away, in all the lands to which you have driven them. So again, he scattered us because of our disobedience to all the lands which you have driven them, because of the treachery that they have committed against you. To us, O Yah, belongs open shame, to our kings, to our princes, to our fathers, because we have sinned against you. Verse 9, to Yah, our Elohim, or our power, belong mercy and forgiveness, for we have rebelled against him and have not obeyed the voice of Yah, our power, by walking in his laws, which he set before us by his servants, the prophets. Verse 11, all Yashara'al has transgressed your law and turned aside, refusing to obey your voice. And the curse and oath that are written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High, have been poured out upon us because we have sinned against him. Verse 12, he has confirmed his words, which he spoke against us and against our rulers who ruled us, by bringing upon us a great calamity. Now listen to this, for under the whole heaven there has not been done anything like what has been done against Jerusalem. So he says, for under the whole heaven, in all of creation, nothing has been done to anyone or anything other than what has been done to us. So I don't want to hear about nobody Holocaust. I don't want to hear about none of that. None of it. He says, for under the whole heaven, there has not been done anything like what has been done against Jerusalem. Right? In verse 13, as it is written in the law of Moses, all this calamity has come upon us, yet we have not entreated the favor of Yah, our power, turning from our iniquities and gaining insight by your truth. Therefore, Yah has kept ready the calamity and has brought it upon us. So I wanted to read that just to get that backdrop. Let me turn these things off a second. Do not disturb. Okay. So I wanted to bring that backdrop, and also this right here, Jeremiah chapter 17. Jeremiah 17 and 4. Jeremiah 17 and 4. So with the prayer that Daniel just prayed to the Most High for his people. Again, Daniel himself was in captivity, right? And he's praying this prayer because our people have sinned against the Most High. We are in this position because we sinned against the Most High. And he says in Jeremiah 17, verse 4, he says, the Most High says, you shall loosen your hand from your heritage that I gave to you, and I will make you serve your enemies. I will make you serve your enemies in a land that you do not know, for in my anger a fire is kindled that shall burn forever. So this is how we ended up in these churches. And again, I have a whole big old thing on that in and of itself, because still a lot of our people think that, we come up in Christianity or whatever the case may be in these churches, and that had something to do with our transition as far as knowing who we are as a people. No, it did not. I will express that wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly, I will express that. And the reason why I say that, you go to Deuteronomy 28. This is what we do, Yashara. We flip scripts. Again, if a man speaks, let him speak as the oracle of the Most High. So I don't want you to get it from me. I want you to get it from text. Deuteronomy 28, verse 36. This is the curses. Again, the curses are from, he said, from 15 through 68. These things that will come upon us as a people if we disobey the Father. So if you look at verse 36 of Deuteronomy 28, it says, Yah will bring you and your king whom you set over you to a nation that neither you nor your fathers have known. And there you shall serve other gods of wood and stone. Okay? He says, so I'm going to bring you to these nations or whatever, to a nation that neither you nor your fathers have known. So Abraham didn't know him, Isaac didn't know him, Jacob didn't know him, Moses didn't know him, David didn't know him. A nation that neither you nor your fathers have known. And he says, and there you shall serve other gods of wood and stone. So anybody that wants to tell me that that Christianity helped us to transition to this, no, that is not the truth. Because he said in captivity, we're going to serve other gods, not him. Okay. And then when you have that wood and stone, what are the two major religions that encompasses Yasharah? Christianity,
Most religion.
Christianity and Islam.
Yeah.
And what's the symbol of Christianity?
Cross.
Wooden cross. Yep.
Wooden cross.
Mm-hmm.
A wooden cross. They will tell you, though, he was hung on a cross, this and that, whatever. No, it was hanged on a tree, just like who?
Mm-hmm.
Because the text tells you what? Cursed is the man that is what?
Hanging from a tree.
Hung on a tree.
Yep.
Again, let you know that we are still under these curses, because they still finding people hung on trees, y'all. Still to this very day. Still to this very day, they still finding us hung on trees. And the text tells you, cursed is the man that is hung on the tree. And Mashiach went through the same exact, again, he being our example, he was hung on a tree. Go figure. But again, Christianity had nothing to do with our transition to being awakened. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That cross, if you will, okay, that's that example. That's the wood example. in the stone example, if you know anything about Islam or whatever, when they go to Mecca on the Hajj, or that pilgrimage that they go to, such and such, and I think over there in Mecca and Medina, I think you have that big black cube or whatever, and within that big black cube is a stone. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's some piece of a meteorite or whatever the case may be. That's what they go march around. That's what they all be trying to touch in the whole 9 yards, that stone in there. So when he says, and you shall serve other gods of wood and stone, Most High, he's not in these churches. He ain't in those mosques. Those are other gods. Those are other gods. They have nothing to do with us. So in turn, we should have nothing to do with anything that came out of Christianity. All they did was take what was written, or I don't know if you want to call it translated or whatever the case may be, from our scrolls, right? Pervert it, put it in another language, and feed it back to us from their twisted perspective. That's all they did. Made themselves the gods. Made themselves the gods. That's why they gave you, a European, they want to call him Jesus or whatever you want to call him. Made themselves the gods. The scriptures tell you in the Apocrypha and the Maccabees that they painted all the images. And this is what, I guess Putin is bringing out now. Painted all the images, the angels, the prophets, all of these people, painted all the images, European. Yes, sis, I see your hand up.
Yeah, and then they put us in direct opposition by telling us we were no longer under the law, so encouraging us to be disobedient. I mean, it's the whole, yeah.
And basically that's what Christianity has done. We haven't learned anything from Christianity. Guess we were already the Most High's people.
Mm-hmm.
We were already the Most High's people, but just like we read in Jeremiah 17, we were removed from our heritage. Well, we removed ourselves because, of the disobedience. We removed ourselves from the heritage, right? So don't know your heritage. So just think that, you have this amnesia. You have no idea who you are, where you come from, what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Matter of fact, let's do it. Let's go to Isaiah 20. Where is it? Isaiah 29. Isaiah 29.
Said 29.
Yes.
Oh.
Isaiah 29. Starting at verse 10, excuse me. Isaiah 29, starting at verse 10. And it reads out of the ESV, for Yah has poured out upon you a spirit of what? Deep sleep. Not just regular sleep, deep sleep. Okay, so it's like, if anybody has ever had surgery or whatever, when you get that, or a tooth extraction, you get that anesthesia, right? Then they tell you to count backwards from 10. And you probably reach like 7. because that just comes over you like, woof. The spirit of deep sleep. You have no idea what these people are doing to you, this and that, whatever. You just wake up, boom. So it says he has poured out upon us a spirit of deep sleep, right? And has closed your eyes, the prophets, and covered your heads, the seers. Verse 11. And the vision of all this has become to you like the words of a book that is sealed. When men give it to one who can read, saying, read this, he says, I cannot, for it is sealed. And when they give the book to one who cannot read, saying, read this, he says, I cannot, I can't read it. All right. And he says, verse 13, and Yah said, because this people draw near with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. So he poured upon us a spirit of deep sleep, y'all. So guess what? You could have read this book and this now, because I still hear our people say, man, why, how didn't I get this? How didn't I, none of us got it, man. We're all the same people. So we're all under the same curse. So guess what? We were all under the same deep sleep. That's why. The Most High did all of this. He did this. He said it was going to happen. He said, I'm going to remove you from the heritage that I gave you. He gave us our heritage. We didn't just, happen to just be a people upon the earth. No, he chose us and gave us a heritage. He gave us laws, statutes, and commandments to follow, and told us to do these things and follow them. And if we did that, then we would be a great nation above all people. But then again, we didn't do Deuteronomy. He told us, oh, if you don't follow it, if you don't do it, then you guess what? You're going to be up under everybody's foot. And so, and with that, you're going to be scattered. You're going to be scattered into all these lands, and there you're going to serve other gods of wood and stone. And so that's how we happened upon Christianity. We're already a spiritual people.
Right.
We're already a spiritual people. We're already spirit beings, just like it tells you, I think in Psalm 82, you are gods. You are gods. People frown and say, oh, why are you calling yourself a god? It's not. I didn't call myself a god. The Most High said, you are gods. But you shall die like men because of disobedience. So that's why we out here dying. But he said, you are gods. You are already a spiritual people. Way before Christianity came into play. But again, because we didn't know who we were, this, not, or whatever, now these people are reading back, our stuff to us, but from their perspective. From their perspective. And then, and what is it teaching you? It's teaching you how to contradict the things of the Most High. The very things that you're supposed to be doing, the church is teaching you not to do. That's why
they always say, not under the law.
See what I'm saying? Teaching you that the law is done away with. That the law is done away with. You don't have to follow the law. All you got to do is love the Most High and love one another. Okay, well, how do you do that? How do you do that?
And love correctly, you can keep the law. That's part of loving the Most High.
Yep.
And that's one of the questions I pose. Well, how, if the law is done away with, and all we're supposed to be doing is loving the Most High and loving each other, how are we supposed to do that? How? And that's where the 10 Commandments kind of come in, because under that, encompasses all of the law. So basically all of what the Most High speaks and tells us and shows us what to do. The 10 Commandments is just a template. It's just a template of everything that the Most High is saying to his people. Again, the first 4 commandments teach us what? How to love the Most High, right? How to love and fear and revere the Most High. And then the next 6 commandments teach us what? How to love one another. So again, if the law is done away with, and we're supposed to love the Most High and love one another, how do we do that? The Most High showed us how to do it. He gave us the template. Again, the first 4 commandments is how we love the Most High and revere him. And the last 6 It's how we love one another. I see you, sis. Go ahead.
So yeah, in total agreement with that. But this is how the church was able to go off the rails so much, and or get the Most High's people off the rails, because if you take out the law and you say, just love each other and love the God, then you can determine what that is, what that looks like, because you're not going according to the law, statutes, and commandments. It can be whatever, it could be your truth, as they say. Now truth becomes subjective, instead of having the law, statutes, and commandments that guide how we love him and how we love each other. And that's why homosexuality, everything that the Bible taught against, is now okay because it's so inclusive, but it's really demonic.
That's basically it. And again, like you said, I mean, they taught here because again, they got the scrolls. If you ask me, I believe the Vatican has, from 70 AD, has our scrolls, has a lot of our, gold from the temple and all of these things like that, whatever, all things from the temple and the altar, has all the artifacts underneath their cave, because Vatican has many hidden rooms and vaults and all of these things. And I believe all that stuff that was stolen in 70 AD from Jerusalem is there in the Vatican. They have all of that stuff. They have all of that. Now, when you read, I don't know if anybody has ever done it, but if you start reading or look up and Google whatever, how Christianity began, they're going to give you this whole big old spiel on, Christianity began with Jesus and all this stuff, because they added in the text, the New Testament, and that's a whole nother story. They added in the text that basically, I can't remember exactly how it was worded, but basically the disciples of Christ became Christians at Antioch. Okay, now when you read about that word Christians, to be called a Christian back then was actually a derogatory statement. They weren't called Christians. Okay, they were called followers of the way. Followers of the way. That's what they were called. They weren't called Christians. Christianity didn't come into play until around the time of, what's his name? I can't remember that man's name. Was it Constantine, I believe?
Yeah. Yep.
And it was a means of control. It was a means of control. So I'm gonna take what the quote unquote Jews have, right? They hated us. I'm gonna take what the Jews, because when we say Jews now, we're not speaking about these Ashkenazi people in the land. When we say Jews, we're speaking Judeans. Jews actually short for Judean, because that's where we were dwelling at that time in captivity in Judea, right? So we're gonna take what the Judeans have, right, and we're gonna put our spin on it. We're gonna keep our paganism. We're gonna keep all of these things, whatever, because we don't want to do what they do. But we're going to take what they have and some of their statutes and all of these things, and we're going to, mix that with our way of life and give it to the people as a means of control. And anyone they found doing the things of of our culture, anyone they found doing that, they killed. Matter of fact, I was reading, I can't find it. I was reading, what do you call it? They call it the, what do you call that thing? They call it Constantine's Creed or the Nicene Creed. I had it up here and I can't find that joint. And I really wanted to read that to let you know. I mean, for people who say that, we've learned something in Christianity, no, we have not learned anything Christianity. The only thing we learned in Christianity is how to be idolatrous. We learned paganism. That's what we learned in Christianity. So we should not be bringing anything from Christianity into our heritage at all.
I grew up in the Catholic Church, and we used to have the Apostles' Creed.
Yeah, the Apostles'
that's
Creed. And I remember it said something about that too when I was reading it. Just
mhm.
Apostles' Creed. The Nicene Creed, the Constantine's Creed. I mean, it goes into depth, and it's basically how Constantine was saying that, you know, don't do anything like the Jews. If, you know, basically, if they found you doing anything like the Jews or whatever, such and such and such, you'd be killed or something to that nature or whatever.
Okay.
But
Mhm.
it's just letting you know that whatever's in our scrolls, they're not going to do. They're not going to do. They want to implement their thing to the people. You see what I'm saying? And this is how all of Christianity got started. They were not going to do, you know, anything that the Bible is saying to do. We're going to implement a new thing here, and we're going to push that on the people. In all of these religions, all the Baptists and who you can go down the line, Episcopalian, Pentecostal, they all come from that. They all come from Catholicism, starting with the Pope. All comes from that. So it has nothing to do with us. So we truly have to get away from that. I know my man Danny always speaks about, we have these tapes playing in our head because we've been under this for so long, our fathers and our fathers' fathers, our mothers' mothers, coming through the church and all of these things. And, especially being in the hood, you having a church on every corner and things of that nature. And it was so crazy. I used to question that, riding through Harlem, on Sundays or whatever, or whenever we were there, just riding through Harlem or whatever, or like the hood in Queens, or wherever I was in the Bronx. And it's the truth. You see a church, if not on every corner, every other corner. I mean, it was set up that way, y'all. It was set up that way because they know the powers that be, they know who we are. They know who we are. And they know that if we are doing those things that are abominable to the Most High, that they can continue to keep their foot on our neck because we're being disobedient. Matter of fact, let's read that. Wisdom, sorry, bro. That is it Judith? Judith, yeah. Judith. So again, this is one of those apocryphal books. It's the book of Judith. If I can find it here.
Back.
Yeah, the book of Judith, chapter 5. And again, if you don't have like these books, I mean, you can literally look them up online. People say, man, this stuff has been in our face the whole time. Again, but if you're in the spirit of deep sleep, how are you going to know? How are you going to know? So 1 second. One second. Oh. So the book of Judith, chapter 5. This is, I can't keep remembering the backstory. So this, I guess he's a general. His name is Holofernes, excuse me. Holofernes. And he was the chief captain of the army of Ashur or Assyria, right? Well, let me read it so you get the backstory. So Judith chapter 5, I'm starting at verse 1. Says, Holofernes, the chief captain of the army of Ashur or Syria, was told that the children of Israel had prepared for war, had shut up the passages of the hill country, had fortified all the tops of the high hills, and had laid impediments in the plains. Then he was exceedingly angry, and he called all the princes of Moab and the captains of Ammon and all the governors of the seacoast, and he said to them, tell me now, you sons of Canaan, who are these people who dwell in the hill country? Talking about us, right? What are the cities that they inhabit? How large is their army? Where is their power and their strength? What king is set over them to be the leader of their army? Verse 4, why have they turned their backs that they should not come and meet me more than all that dwell in the west? All right, verse 5, then Achior, the leader of all the children of Ammon, said to him, now remember Ammon, well, I'm not going to go there. But Ammon, they knew who Yasharal was because Moab and Ammon are pretty much our kin. You know what I mean? As far as Lot is concerned, those are the children of Lot, Moab and Ammon. So verse 5, then Achior, the leader of all the children of Ammon, said to him, let my master now hear a word from the mouth of your servant, and I will tell you the truth concerning these people who dwell in this hill country near to the place where you dwell. And he says, no lie will come out of the mouth of your servant. So Achior, who is from Ammon, he's going to speak to Holofernes, who's the chief captain of the army of Assyria, about who we are as a people. Right? And so I believe these things have just been passed down, y'all. These people know who we are. So let's skip now. Let's skip now to verse 17. So again, this is Achior, who was from the nation of Ammon, speaking to the chief captain of the Assyrian army. Verse 17, and he's speaking about us. Verse 17, he says, and while they didn't sin before their power, the Most High, they prospered because the Most High, who hates iniquity, was with them. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many severe battles and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. The temple of their power, their Elohim, their God, was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by their adversaries. Verse 19, and now they have returned to their Elohim, their power, and have come up from the dispersion where they were dispersed, and have possessed Yarushalayim, Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Look at verse 20. And now, my master, if there is any error in this people, and they sin against their power, we will consider what this thing is in which they stumble, and we will go up and overcome them. Verse 21, but if there is no lawlessness in their nation, let my master now pass by, unless their Adonai, their master, defend them, and their power before them, and we will be a reproach before all the earth. So again, this is known throughout all the nations, y'all. We are known throughout all the nations. If we are in obedience to the Most High, if we are doing what we're supposed to do in his sight, right? The Most High is going to be with us, right? But he's telling you, this is somebody of another nation who's watched, who knows about us as a people. And he says, but if they are found stumbling, if they are found being disobedient to their power, that is our advantage. That is our advantage. So again, unfortunately, at this time, again, we are under the curse because of the disobedience of our forefathers. We're under the curse. And not only did, they disobey in the whole 9 yards and were idolatrous and had all these pagan gods, but then, you get to Mashiach, to Messiah, and they say, let his blood be on us and our children. To make matters worse. But, again, these people know who we are. So now the curse is upon us. They know that we have been disobedient. So they've taken full advantage. And the Most High has allowed them to take full advantage. Because see, we wanted to be like the other nations. So all the Most High did was say, you know what? Have at it. That's all he did. That's all he did, y'all. He said, y'all want to be like them so bad? Have at it. Go. Let me know how that works out for you.
It's sad because they know us better than we know us.
And that's exactly the truth, sis. Oh yeah. There's a script. Marshall just brought it up to my attention. 1 second, let me see if I can find it. But it's the truth. They do. You're right, sis. They do know us better than we know ourselves. Let's see.
We talk about cultural appropriation a lot, but that's the biggest cultural appropriation of all time. They stole a whole covenant and
Well,
a whole
again,
tend to be bloodline. And I
well,
know
again,
why.
I mean, and you know, and again, I always say they didn't steal anything. Honestly,
Right. You're
we
right. We
gave
gave
it
it.
up.
We did. Our disobedience. Yep.
And I always say that is the humility of our people. Again, 2 Chronicles 7:14, where the Most High says, if my people who are called by my name shall first humble themselves. I personally think that is the beginning. Well, not even me personally. According to Leviticus 26, and I believe it's 41, that is the beginning of our humbling, to acknowledge the reason why you're in the situation that you are in. Matter of fact, let me go there. Leviticus 26. Because we do hear that, well, they stole this, they stole that, this now, whatever. But the text, Solomon said, the race is not given to the swift, nor the battle to the strong. Right? Even Mashiach, when he was tied up before Pilate, you know what I mean? He basically, and I'm paraphrasing, he basically told Pontius Pilate, basically, you didn't do nothing to me, you didn't overtake me. He says, I was given into your hand. Psalm 64. Okay. So, okay, let's go to Psalm 64 real quick. You want to read it real quick?
All right.
Psalm 64. No, just that part where it says made diligent, they make a diligent search. 64, right? Starting at verse 5. So again, this is to Claudia's statement that they know us better than we know ourselves. Yeah, bro.
Psalm 64, verse 5 and 6 out of the Septuagint says, they have set up for themselves an evil matter. They have given counsel to hide snares. They have said, who shall see them? They have searched out iniquity. They have wearied themselves with searching diligently. A man shall approach, and the heart is deep.
Again, and I think the KJV says what, Marsh? Can y'all hear her?
Nah.
Okay. All right.
Your voice is very low.
Can you hear me now?
You good?
Yes.
Okay. Psalm 64, verse 5 through 6. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? Verse 6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep.
So they have searched us out. They have searched us out diligently. Diligently. So again, yes, they do know us better than we know ourselves. Again, we have been put into a deep sleep, but so has the rest of the world, honestly, to not know truly who Yashral is and things like that. I mean, Psalm 80, I think it was Psalm 83, where it speaks about the nations being confederate against us because they hate the Most High is the reason why they hate us as well. But also this verse in I know we're gonna go back to Leviticus 26, but also this verse in Isaiah 20, it's Isaiah 20, just had it. Isaiah 25. So just like we have been put in a deep sleep, everyone else has also. Verse 25. I'm sorry, Isaiah 25, verse 7. Isaiah 25, verse 7. He says, and he will swallow up on this mountain. He says, the covering that is cast over all peoples, the veil that is spread over all nations. The covering that is cast over all peoples, the veil that is spread over all nations. So, you know how when the Most High was speaking to Abraham about the covenant, he says, I will bless those that bless you and I will curse those that curse you.
Yes.
The world doesn't know. They don't know that they've been pretty much blessing the wrong people. They've been cursing the wrong people. Because a veil has been poured over. When we sinned, when we disobeyed the Most High, we became now the least, right? We became the last. This is what we allowed to happen. Again, they didn't do anything to us. The Psalms, I can't remember exactly where it is. There's a Psalm that speaks of, the Most High uses the wicked. He uses the wicked basically as a belt against us. He used the wicked as a belt against us. So they have this veil over them as well. And they have blessed these Ashkenazi, fish people, and they continue to curse us because there's a veil over them as well. But they still do know more. They probably know more about our heritage than we do. Now we're coming back to it. We're grasping and we're seeking and we're asking. And Mashiach told us, by his spirit, he's going to bring all things back to our remembrance. So this is where we are now. He's bringing things back to our remembrance as we, are before the Most High, and we're seeking, we're asking, we're reading, and just pretty much pining, unto him. He's bringing back these things to our remembrance, and that's not to say we're going to know all of our heritage and this and that, whatever. You know what I mean? We're not in any Brew University where we have it all figured out. I'll be the first one to say I do not have it all figured out at all. But I will say myself, I look to definitely try to study to show myself approved unto the Most High, and teach my family and whomever the Most High puts before me, to teach them diligently out of the book, what it is that we should be doing, how we are, so that we can obtain not just salvation, because, as we'll read later, salvation just means, it doesn't mean being saved from your sins. Salvation means being saved from your enemies, which we have many. So it's beyond salvation. We are trying to get up in the kingdom. We don't want to be bruised on the outside of the kingdom looking in. Just like I think Matthew 8 speaks about. We don't want to be bruised. Here we have a kingdom that comes down from heaven upon earth, that the Most High has set up for his people, Yasharal, right? And because we didn't do enough, we didn't do our part, we're on the outside looking in. I don't want that. I don't want that myself. And I do not want that for any of y'all. I do not want that for my people. I really, really, honestly, truly don't. We've been apart from our heritage for so long. We're grasping, and and being in this captivity does not make it easy, y'all. It does not make it easy. I'll be the first one to say, I know this is not easy. It is not easy at all, especially when you have what Christianity has told us. That, well, if you have Jesus, if you're a true child of God, then, nothing is supposed to be wrong. You shouldn't be sick, and you shouldn't be going through anything, and your finances should be through the roof, and all. Chapter and verse. Chapter and verse. Where does it say that? Where does it say that? And that's basically all you have to say, chapter and verse. Where does it say that? Because the text tells me that many are the afflictions of the righteous. And who are the righteous? Those that look to keep the commandments of the Most High.
Yeah, I think many of them read the blessings of Abraham and don't realize that we're actually under the curses because we were disobedient. So many sermons I've heard, you're blessed coming in and going out. You're the head and not the tail. That's what we're supposed to be. But we didn't listen to the Most High. So now, and then they don't read the curses. That's what we're under right now.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
and because I had that conversation with my mom, and speaking to her about who we were, and that the curses would actually be a sign of who true Israel will be in these last days. And it actually says that. Let me see what verse that is. I think it's 40 something. Oh yeah, 46. Right? I'll start at verse 45, right? So Deuteronomy 28, starting at verse 45. So it says, all these curses shall come upon you and pursue you and overtake you till you are destroyed. Now, that destroyed doesn't mean completely obliterated off the face of the earth. We already know that because, the remnant of our people, we're still here, right? That destroyed means your mind, everything you've come to know as a people, that will be removed from you. So you'll be destroyed in the sense of you won't know who you are at all. You won't know. And being in Christianity and all these things have perpetuated that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what destroyed means. Your mind, that will be destroyed. Because think about it in this sense, right? If your mind, if your brain goes out, can your body function?
Probably not.
So if your mind is destroyed, you as a person are done. Right? You're at the whim of whomever. So that's what he means about being destroyed. But verse 45, all these curses shall come upon you, pursue you, and overtake you till you are destroyed, because you did not obey the voice of Yah, your Elohim, your power, to keep his commandments and his statutes that he commanded you. Verse 46, they shall be a sign and a wonder against you and your offspring forever. So that's why, in the Most High awakening us in the whole 9 yards, a lot of us, that the first thing that he puts upon you is Deuteronomy 28. Why? Because if you can identify with these curses, you're the people. You the people. So no, they're never going to touch on the curses in the whole 9 yards, because the curses only identify a certain group of people. No, we're blessed. We're blessed and highly favored, and and we're saved, and we're saved and sanctified. Okay, in the church construct, that may be the case, but Yashara'al is not saved. We are sanctified to the Most High, yes, and we're set apart to the Most High, but we ain't saved from nobody. We're still in captivity. We're still in chattel slavery. You know what I mean? If you're working a 9 to 5 on your job and the whole 9 yards, guess what? You in slavery. Now, most of the known world works a 9 to 5 as a job in the whole 9 yards, but for the most part, who was the ones these nations? How are these nations built? On whose back?
Ours.
Okay. And when you go in ancient times, you read the text, this and that, whatever, were we working any 9 to 5s? Were we on a job? When the Most High said, you shall work by the sweat of your brow, he wasn't talking about a 9 to 5. He was talking about tilling your land. Because before that, he gave you, in the garden, he gave you trees, he gave you the fruit and the nuts and all of these things in abundance. He gave them to you. You didn't have to work for that. But after Adam sinned, the whole 9 yards, he fell. Now you have to till the ground for your food and for your victuals and all of these things. So we're still in slavery, y'all. This thing ain't over. And so all they can do is concentrate on the blessings and this and that, whatever. But right now, we're under these curses because we disobeyed the Most High, and this is why we earnestly pull for our people. Just truly wake up and understand. We know the end of this. The Most High has shown us the end of this thing as a people, right? You have an inheritance and a true, beautiful inheritance that is waiting for you. That is yours, but it's going to take work. It's going to take that faith. And what faith is the work. This is doing the work of the Most High, is being obedient. That's what faith is. Faith is not just saying, okay, I'm going to just sit here and just wait on the Most High to bless and this and that. No, we got to do work. We have to keep these law, statutes, and commandments in the midst of this captivity that's telling you not to do it. That's why Mashiach said in Matthew 24, and he that endures to the end, the same shall be, it says saved, but the same shall be delivered. And again, more than just being delivered, more than just being saved from your enemies, we want to walk into the way of righteousness. That's what the goal is. That's what the end game is. Because guess what? The text speaks of Yasharal, all of us being gathered. Matter of fact, it tells you, I believe it's in, I don't know if I think Amos.
It's Ezekiel 35.
Was that?
I think it's Ezekiel 35. If I ain't mistaken.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it might be Ezekiel or Amos, or what it tells you that not one will sift through. Not one. When he comes back to gather his people, not one will sift through. He will gather all of his people, all of us, and he will bring us into the wilderness. But even in the wilderness, we're going to be tried. That's why I tell you, salvation is not the end goal. Salvation is one of the byproducts. Salvation is not the end goal. Because once we get into the wilderness, once we're gathered into the wilderness, I personally, that's when all the tribulations are going to start. I believe the Most High is holding it. He's telling the angels to hold back the winds and all of these things, this and that, whatever. Hold all of that back because my people are still out there. But once he gathers us back and he brings us back into the wilderness, again, second Exodus. The second Exodus, right? Once he gathers us back, then he'll take care of the rest of the nations. But once he gathers us back, we still have to go through a process. We still have to be passed under the rod, just like the first Exodus. Our people didn't go directly into the promised land. You got it out?
Yeah. It's Ezekiel chapter 20, starting at the 33rd verse. I mean, out the KJV.
No, not that one. The one where it says that one will sift through.
I think let
me see.
It says a stretched out arm, a pass under the rod, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah. I think it may not be that exact, but it's pertaining to him gathering his people, gathering us. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole big thing is.
Right. That's what
read that scripture.
20:33 talks about the regathering, bringing us back into the wilderness, and then rebellion. Then he was going to cast out all of those who rebelled. I want to read that Amos chapter 9 real quick to let us know that, when he gathers us, not one of Yahshua, he knows exactly. The text tells you, I think in Timothy, that the Most High knows whose are his. He knows who Yahshua is wherever we are scattered in the earth. He knows exactly where we are. And it says, not one will sift through. Verse 9. Okay, yeah. So Amos chapter 9, verse 9. Amos chapter 9. Let me make sure I get it right here. I like to have it on my joints. Amos 9, verse 9. So I'm reading out of Septuagint. Amos 9, verse 9 says, "For I will give commandment and sift the house of Yasharal among all the nations." Okay, so what he's saying, I'm going to sift. So we know how when you sift something or whatever you bring through, like it's like a little, what's that, strainer or whatever the case may be, and you kind of sift it through just to get what you want out of it, and whatever bigger grains or whatever is left is going to be left in that little strainer. So that's what he's saying. For I will give command and sift the house of Yasharal among all the nations. So we're among the nations, but he's going to pluck up out of all his people from among the nations. So again, it ain't everybody he's gathering. That's what we've been taught in church, right? That he's for everybody. But he's saying, I'm gathering Israel who are among the nations. That's it. He says, as corn is sifted in the sieve. And he says, and yet a fragment shall not in any wise fall upon the earth. So when he sifts his people, he knows exactly who we are. He says not one will be sifted through. He's gathering all of us to the wilderness. And that's that scripture that Des was talking about in Ezekiel 20, starting at verse 33. He's going to gather us, bring us into the wilderness, just like he did coming out of Egypt, brought us to the wilderness. Now then, it was supposed to be what? An 11-day journey. It was supposed to be an 11-day journey, but because of our mishaps and our disobedience and our murmuring and complaining, 11 days turned into 40 years. Because Israel's a stiff-necked and hard-hearted people, unfortunately. But again, same thing. He's going to gather us from among the nations, bring us into the wilderness. I personally believe it's going to be in the same place. That's my personal belief. Because the Most High, again, Solomon said, there's nothing new under the sun. What has been before shall be again. Basically paraphrasing. So I believe it's the same place. And when he brings us there, he has to purge out the rebels. That's what he says, that he's going to purge out the rebels. So again, salvation is not the end goal, because there's still going to be rebels in the midst of Yasharal. And that's why I always say it's good that we should be getting this stuff now. It's good that we should be, when we awaken or we repent and we turn to the Most High, it's good for us to practice the righteous acts now, so that you already know what's expected of you. Because when you get out there in that wilderness, guess what? Most High is meticulous. If we murmuring and complaining and you longing for what you had in captivity, you longing back for Egypt, all of these things, guess what? You're going to be purged out.
And you said you think it's going to take place in the same place just now, you said? You talking about the wilderness? No, I'm just asking, where are you saying?
Yeah, in the wilderness. So again, when they came out of Egypt, they went straight into the, it calls about the wilderness, but the desert. I can't remember what that desert is, but
yeah. So you're saying that's what you believe physically, that we will yeah. I just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page, that that's what you were saying.
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I believe I believe we're going to the same exact.
Same. Okay.
That's my personal belief.
Yeah.
That place was that was in, I think it was northwestern, like that Saudi Arabia area right there, whatever case me. That's my personal belief. I'm not saying nobody, do your own research, this now, whatever. That's me, Myron. I personally believe it's going to be the same exact place, being at that same mountain where our people were, where we received the lost that. I personally believe it's going to be in the same exact place. And just like he purged out our peoples back then who were murmuring and complaining, this and that, whatever, however he chooses to purge us out, back then it wasn't good. I mean, a lot of our people died by sword, died by famine and pestilence. The earth swallowed them up. Some of our people, snakes bit them and, killed them. You know what I'm saying? So this is why we don't want to be in that place. We don't want to be rebels. We want to be in a place where, the Most High is pleased with us, right? After he gathers us and we're in that place, in that wilderness, and he's probably reiterating the law, statutes, commandments, just establishing himself and Mashiach in the midst of us. I truly believe it's going to be in that same place. Again, there's nothing new under the sun. He is the Most High. He changes not, but, this, I just wanted to, lay the foundation of what we would like to establish as far as our people, just, getting in good with the Most High. Again, we're all going to be feeding each other. Look, I'll be calling on some of y'all, you know what I mean, to bring about enlightenment for us as well. Because that's what it's all about, right? It's not about one individual. The Most High sees us as a nation, and as we just read, we are all shepherds of the sheep. So that's it, family. I rambled long enough. I just wanted to just kind of share that and gather with y'all and prayerfully, as the Most High wills, we'll continue to gather every pagan Saturday, same bat time, same bat channel. But is there anyone that has anything?
Well, I did real quick. I looked up the desert to see if it's called Midbar. It's saying it's a word generally used in the Septuagint, something. Anyway, it says Midbar, and it says, but of the regions of the Exodus, various districts are distinguished as the Desert of Sin. So I guess that's another name that they call it, but Midbar is the one that keeps coming up. So that's interesting. I never heard that word before for it.
Yeah, because I know we did move around once he established us, once we crossed the Red Sea. I know we did move around a lot.
Yeah.
Well, but again, it was we were in that place of the wilderness before stepping into the promised. You know what I mean? So we were in that place for a while now. I don't think that would be the same thing, because the Most High, he's trying to establish his kingdom. But one thing is for certain, just like Ezekiel 20 talks about, he is definitely going to purge out the rebels.
Yeah.
Just like he did back then. So that is for certain. That's why, I know for Marshall, myself, and our family, we always like to say we err on the side of caution, right? So if it's in the text, we're going to do it. If we don't see it in the text applying to our people, we not messing with it. So we err on caution because, like the Most High is meticulous, and I personally don't want to be caught with my pants down or anything like that or whatever. I just, we just want to be right in the side of the Most High. That's what we want to teach to our family. That's what we want to teach to our people, just to be truly set apart as he is set apart. And he's extremely set apart, right?
Yeah.
He's extremely set apart, and that's what he wants for us. So again, if everyone, just like the Mashiach said, right? You have a broad and wide path, and there's a straight and narrow gate. And we should be following the straight and narrow gate. So guess what? If you're in the midst of a wicked place and you're following the straight and narrow gate, you are not going to be liked. You are not going to be the most popular amongst family, amongst friends, amongst co-workers, this, that, or whatever. You're not. That just is what it is. You're going to be the small fish in a very big pond. And if you're not doing what the world wants you to do, guess what? You are going to be frowned upon. But didn't they frown upon Mashiach? They frowned upon him as well.
Yep.
So that's when we have to, just gird up our loins and keep it pushing. Because as long as the Most High validates you, you good.
You said about just sticking to the scripts is the best thing you can do. I mean, because those are the boundaries, and then it's not about how I feel or, you don't, want to be y'all to come back and, we put our own words in this, how we feel about something, or I think is this. It's like, just if we stick to the scripts that gives us a boundary, just like the commandments do, it's like stay within this text and you can't go wrong, So that's good. Yeah, just stick in the scripts, because it's easy sometimes, like, yeah, but right, but
Right.
I feel like, and you hear people say all the time, well, I don't think that Yah means that. No, he means what he said, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah. As
Yeah.
hard as it could be sometimes, it's like, no, take him at his word, just like we should do with people,
That's it. That's it. He says what he means and he means what he says. And
Yeah.
that's what that fear of the Most High is. It's that reverential fear, that would even keep us from just, falling into iniquity. You know what I mean? If Abba's not pleased with it, I should not be doing it. Point blank in the period. If he didn't call it to be, then I should not be doing it. If the other nations are doing it, if everybody else is, that's one thing with me. If everybody else is doing it, that's the one thing I'm staying away from.
You're right about that. My goodness.
Listen, that's what
Yeah.
that's what my friend was talking about. That's what he was talking
Yeah.
about.
Mm.
He says the broad and wide path, he says many follow it. Many follow it to their own what? Destruction.
Yep. All demise.
In the narrow path, many, he said few find, he says few find it. Few find it. And that's what we come up against. A lot of our people are just rejecting knowledge. I think it's in 2 Thessalonians, he speaks about sending a strong delusion to believe a lie, basically getting a reprobate mind, sending a strong delusion to believe a lie because you reject the love of the truth. So it's not that the truth it's not that the truth is not prevalent. It's very much so here. Matter of fact, Daniel talks about knowledge increasing in the last days. Right? So if knowledge in and of itself is increasing, you don't think the things of the Most High is increasing as well? Right? Knowledge that we know comes from him. It's increasing in the last days. But yet people still make the excuse that, nah, I don't know, or whatever. It's not that they don't know. A lot of them don't want to know. People don't want to be held accountable to it. Because once you know, you are held accountable. But even saying, nah, I don't want to hold that, because even saying, nah, I don't want to hear this now, you're still held accountable, because now you're just rejecting, period. You already know. You already know when you're saying, nah, I don't want to hear it, because if I hear it, then that means I gotta do it. So you already know. You already know there's something to it, but you continue to reject it. And that's
Just hearing it, and then, it's one thing to hear it and have to really search it for yourself and get familiar with that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody tell you something, but just to totally reject it and not even, seek it out. That's the wrong thing to do. So I can relate to that, because sometimes stuff used to be, especially in the beginning of my walk, it's like, nah, I'm going to just put that to the side right now, because I don't know what you talking about. We had that conversation before. And it was like, I'll put that on the shelf, because I don't get that right now. But I didn't throw it away. I put it on the shelf and went back and got it. So
exactly right.
so I'll deal with that one later.
And see, and that's where that script that David said in Psalm 119, that's what hit hard for me, doing that exactly. But then it says, make not haste in coming to the Most High. Then I was like, dang it. Huh? Make haste, excuse me, make haste.
To come, to make haste, like,
Make haste, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
because you don't know. You might not get another chance to even do it, right? So
make haste coming to him. Don't put it off, but make haste, because again, tomorrow's not promised to us. And if I do happen to leave the earth, I want to know that I've left the earth, being obedient. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
That's right.
Yeah, one thing that's helped me a lot, even just sharing this truth with even my daughter, who I'm so close to, she is in the process of rejecting it, and it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking, but I still have to choose Hamashiach over even my flesh and blood.
Yes.
And that's a hard pill to swallow. I mean, I still talk to her on a daily basis, but I'm not gonna relax my standards because she's in rejection. And I remember really going to the Most High, pleading, please open her eyes, open her eyes. And one thing that he recently showed me was Matthew 7:7-8. And if I think about how, first of all, he has to open your eyes, but he opens your eyes through the way that we're doing the work, asking, seeking, knocking. It says, ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open to you. So all of those actions are on us. We have to have that holy curiosity, or that, this can't be it. Something's wrong. That the Holy Spirit or the Ruach Kadesh nudging you in that direction. But if you're satisfied and you want to celebrate the holidays, you want to not hear and be prideful, because that's the opposite of being humble, right? That's why they argue a lot, because they're prideful. If you're comfortable in the lie, it's not going to be open to you.
Mm.
And that really helped me a lot, because I'm pleading on her behalf, but the Most High was speaking to my heart. Like, she has to want it. You can't want it for her. You know what I mean? So it actually relieved me from the pressure of trying to convert her, because that's not my job. I give her the information, and then Yah has to do a work in her heart.
Because when you surround yourself with the lie so much, it becomes your truth.
That's right.
Yeah. So unfortunately, she used to be very inquisitive like us, but when she recently got married, her husband is comfortable in the lie, and he's inapologetic, so he will fight you tooth and nail. Just trying to explain he's not open, and now she's kind of exhibiting that as well. So please pray for her, y'all. But what it does for me, though, is it allows me to just trust and have faith in the Most High, because that she will eventually get there. One thing my husband helped me with is saying she's on her journey, just like we were on our journey. So I don't know who that's for, but it takes the pressure off, because it's not our job to convert people. We're supposed to plant the seed, and then other people water it, and the Most High makes it grow. So
that's one thing you said. I mean, that's the one thing he had placed upon my heart, that I had to actually start telling also my family, or actually speaking to myself. Our job as Joshua is not, we're not here to convert anybody. The Most High didn't tell us to do that. He just told us to restore our brethren, right? To restore our brethren, let them know who they are, and and whose they are, and what it is that we're supposed to be doing, keeping these laws, statutes, commandments. My job is not here to convert you. My job is not here to beat you into submission. No, you know what I mean? It's to share, the good news, if you will.
Yeah.
We are His people, and that
I was gonna share something as well.
yeah.
That as well. I mean, you told me that, dealing with a few cats. You try to go out your way to trying to reach out to them at the while, and you see no result of them coming. And you trying to, then they come to you about certain things. You share whatever, but you can't focus on trying to save anybody, because in the end of the day, that you beating yourself then trying to do that, it'll drain the life out of you. You lose sight of what you're supposed to be doing as an individual in Yasharal. So yeah, you just drop the seed, like I said, Most High water it, and whatever comes out of it comes out. You just pray, faith, fervently, as the Most High give it to you. Hopefully they'll get it, and you keep it moving.
Yeah, and you live the
That's
life.
Most High child first, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Before anybody else.
Yep.
Live the life and be an example,
Right.
Yeah, we have to live the life, and living that life is just being obedient, just living by every word
Yeah.
that proceeds out of his mouth. If we
Mhm.
do that, just like he told us, right? We do that, just just keeping his Lord's statutes, commandments, loving one another, just like the text says. The nations will know that we are we
Yeah.
are his disciples. The nations will know that we are his disciples by just us being obedient. Period. That's it. I think we put more on it than what it should be. You see what I'm saying? And again, taking a lot of the things from Christianity, this and that, whatever, we put more on it than what it should be. But it honestly, if you really honestly, it's really simple. The hard part is living it in this captivity.
I
But
think that really, really is difficult because we're in a situation where you're surrounded by people who are in the flesh. Everything you see, you get bombarded. In schools, you go you look at political things, you look at TV. I mean, it's all the same thing. So for me, anyway, I find that I get the peace and the love, and I get a lot of extra ability to follow the path I'm supposed to follow when I stay away from the world and make sure I stay close to, as I call my group, the family.
Mm.
Because we're like-minded, and fortunately, the group that we're with, it's really great because we don't have to have exactly the same opinion, but we don't knock anybody down because they think differently. I find it, to me, to be life saving. For me, it really is.
all praises. And that's why we're not to forsake the assembling of ourselves together as well. Because we're all helping one another. You know what I mean? We're all helping one another. There's no one of us above anybody else. This and that, whatever. I mean, I know the text it speaks about, the priests and and pastors and Levites and things of that nature. And everyone, was delegated for a certain purpose, this and that, whatever. But they were still amongst the same people. Now, of course, you couldn't do certain things that the Levites had,
Wow.
whatever. They were set apart for a purpose, whatever. But for the most part, we were all the same people. The Most High, when He had us at that mountain, right, bringing us the covenant that He shared with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, He was sharing it to all of Yashara'al. Before Moses went up on that mountain to get the 10 Commandments, the Most High was speaking to us as a nation, the whole nation. Exodus 19. And we as the nation said that we will do it.
That's right.
So
Made that blood covenant with us.
exactly, just like He made with our forefathers, He made the covenant with us as well. So He said that He will do it. So again, we are a nation. We're supposed to be helping one another. We're supposed to be reasoning together. We're supposed to be fellowshipping together. We're supposed to be leaning on one another. Look, the whole world is against us, y'all. All we have is the Most High and us. That's it. That is it. All we have is the Most High and us. If we can't come together and love one another just like He's asked us to do this and that, whatever, then how do you expect these people to respect us as a people, or even to see us as His disciples, or whatever the case may be? It's not going to happen. He says, if we're loving one another, they will know that we are disciples, because we're doing that, because we're loving one another, because you are fulfilling what was spoken by the Most High. Just as the text says, right? We should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of His mouth. So, I mean, with that, I just wanted to leave off, bringing it up to family, this situation. I just wanted to end off with this one text, because me personally, I believe in this construct, in the way things are, as far as us coming back to our heritage to the full. I believe that this is probably the biggest obstacle in the face of Yasharal. This is my personal belief. I believe it is the biggest, or one of the biggest, if not the biggest, obstacles in Yasharal is that tie to family. That tie to family. Because a lot of compromising, and all of these things take place when it comes to doing the things of Yah, because we're afraid of what our family is going to think. You know, not just some other people, but just our family. You know, that's blood, this now, whatever, boom, boom, both, such and such and such. So I believe this is one of the biggest obstacles. So Matthew chapter 10, starting at verse 34. Matthew chapter 10, starting at verse 34. Say it again. Oh, Matthew 10, starting at verse 34. In the ESV, the heading is not peace, but a sword. And again, these are hard sayings. This is why I believe the text talks about girding up your loins, because it's not easy, y'all. We're in the midst of our enemies. We're in the midst of a wicked construct, you know, and everything being taught is pagan in the whole 9 yards. And we are the children of Yah. We are the children of Yah, literally. And the Most High is telling us to come up out of all of this and serve him in the midst of captivity. So this has got to be one of the biggest things. Matthew 10, starting at verse 34. It says, and this is all red letter, this is all Messiah speaking. Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a person's enemies. Check this out. And a person's enemies will be those of his own household. Okay? So Messiah is saying, I didn't come to bring peace. I came to bring a sword. There's going to be a separation. There has to be a separation. There has to be. Because righteousness cannot dwell with darkness. It can't. If my mindset is to seek the Most High, and your mindset is to continue living in this world as is, guess what? The two can't coexist. They can't. Do you think anything unrighteous is going to be in that kingdom? Absolutely not. He tells us in the text that's not going to happen. And we already know that when we get to the wilderness, according to Ezekiel 20, starting at verse 33, we already know when we get into the wilderness, he's going to purge out the rebels. Why? Because nothing unrighteous will enter the kingdom. He's purging out the rebels before we even enter the kingdom. So if there's, one who is seeking the Most High within your house, and I'm not saying that, you're supposed to cause all types of turmoil in your house. I'm not saying that at all. It's not whatever, but it's just letting you know that there's not going to be a peace there. There's not. It's not. It is what it is, right? He says, verse 36, and a person's enemies will be those of his own household. Verse 37, whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take his, it says cross, but I say burden, whoever does not take his burden and follow me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. All right, and it says, whoever receives you receives me, and whoever receives me receives him who sent me. All right. So basically, just understand this. If you are speaking and sharing, to our people, right, they're not despising you. I know all we see is the tangible. That's all we see is the tangibles right there before us. But remember, we are spiritual people first, y'all. We always have to remember we are spiritual people first. It's just that the things that are tangible are ever before us. So Yeah, so when these people are coming at you, your family members, they're coming at you, they're not despising you, they're despising him. These are not our words. These are his words. So they're not despising you. They are despising him. So just like, Sister Jennifer was saying, just like Mashiach told the disciples in earlier in Matthew 10, when he sent them out to our Lord, to the Lordship of House of Yashua. He says, you know what? If they receive you, let your peace come upon that house. But if they do not receive you, shake the dust off your feet and keep it pushing.
Mm-hmm.
You got to keep it moving. If they're not receiving, we got to keep it moving. Why? Because the Most High has set up somebody else to receive. And not saying that they never will receive. Maybe they're just not that time yet. Maybe the Most High hasn't drawn them yet. That's why we have to continue to be examples of righteousness unto them. We have to continue to be, we can't be, mean to them or this and that, whatever, or, Bible beating them constantly. No, he didn't tell us to do that. He didn't tell us to do that. He's at to love one another, right? We share the good news, this now, whatever. And if it's received, he said, let it be well, let your peace come upon us all. If not, you shake the dust of the feet, keep it moving. And the reason why he says that, if you go back into Samuel, right, when after Saul has sinned, Samuel the prophet was upset that the Most High had taken his hand off of Saul, right? But it was Saul's fault. He sinned. He was disobedient. So Samuel the prophet was upset and he was crying. And you know what the Most High said to him? He said, why are you still crying over that man? I have already chosen another. Why are you still crying over him? I have already chosen another. So as hard as it is to receive that, our family members, I love, because I have family members and loved ones that I want to receive as well. Children, the whole 9 yards, they're still out in the world in the whole 9 yards. And, we continue to pray for them as the Most High gives us utterance. However, all we can do is teach and be an example. That's all we can do.
And it's the best thing that you can do.
All we can do.
It's the greatest thing we can do. Yeah.
Well, but make sure we are being that example of righteousness.
Right.
Do things outside of what the Most High wants us to do, this now, whatever, and then expect them to understand or to say, you know what, I get it now, whatever. You know what I mean? Because contrary to what people believe, I personally believe that if within our people that the Most High Spirit is already there and he speaks to our people, because I can only speak for myself. Like when I was in the world and I wasn't reading the Bible all that much, this and that, whatever. Yet when I saw the peace of the Most High on somebody or the love of the Most High was exhibited, I felt it. And that's what actually helped draw me in, Marsha being one of those people that I saw it on. And I was deep in the world, y'all, deep. And the love of the Most High, the mercy of the Most High was shown to me through her and somebody else. And the peace of the Most High was shown to me as well. And I felt it like I never felt that ever before in my life. Never seen it ever before in my life. And I was like, yo, I want that. That's what I need. My life was chaotic at the time. I need that. I want that. That's what helped draw me. So guess what? When we are doing that, our people listen out, they don't have to be reading the Bible. I kid you not. Because it says in John 6:44, no one comes to Mashiach unless the Father draws him. So guess what? If that's exhibited and they're at a place or whatever the case may be, where the Most High have maybe touched their life we don't know what's going on with these people. We don't know. Whether it be people close to us, we don't know. But the Most High could be working on them and we don't know. And the Most High uses us to exhibit righteousness in the midst of, we don't even have to be speaking to them. Just like I said, you could be in the store or whatever, and something that you do or something that you say or how you're dressed or whatever is just completely different from what they've been seeing in their entire life. And they were like, oh my gosh, I got to get that. And I could say that because it happened to me personally. So that's why it's so important for us to just truly get this. I mean, you know, we share it with our family members. If they don't receive, leave it alone. Leave it. You don't have to keep, beating beating them over the head with the Bible. You don't have to keep, the Most High didn't tell us to do that. He didn't tell, Mashiach didn't tell the disciples to do that. We don't have to do that. We share, and we are examples, and prayerfully, the Most High will prick their heart and open their eyes, open their ears to see and hear, whatever the case may be, and they may be drawn. And that's it. And we don't have to pine over. I mean, it's hard. Look, I'll be the first one to say it is hard. It's very, very, very hard. Now you're gonna cry, and you're going this and that, you're gonna weep in the whole 9 yards. But just pray for them. That's it. Pray for them that the Most High will draw them. Because at the end of the day, if you're showing all this and this and that, whatever, and you don't want to be accountable, and you want to push it away, this and that, whatever, such and such, no matter how much you Bible beat, no matter what you say, this and that, whatever, they don't want it. Just like the text in Jasher talks about, Esau. Abraham was like Abraham, Isaac, they were taking their sons and this and that, whatever, back to, was it Noah and Shem, to be taught the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Esau chose not to go. He got to a point in his life, he chose not to go. He chose that because he was going at first, but when he got to a certain, he chose not to go. He's like, nah, I want to be a part of this. I don't want this. And to this day, there's a whole book of Obadiah written about Esau, right? How he's going to be destroyed. I mean, not just for that, but because he looked at, his brother, Yasharal, and, we know the story. But again, there's no place for Esau. There's no place for him at all. And that's text, because the text tells you he's going to give you a reprobate mind, right? Because you chose to reject the love of the truth. So I believe personally, like I said, that's one of the biggest banes within Yasharal, within our community. But if we can get over that hump and just know that, we are validated by the Most High, we don't need anybody's validation. We are validated by the Most High. The Most High is truly enough for us. Even when that happens, like I said, it will hurt, it will sting, but we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. I think my man Frank had put in there also verse 14 of Matthew 10. He says, and if anyone will not receive you or listen to your words, that's it right there, Frank. Thank you, man. Shake off the dust from your feet when you leave that house or town. Truly, I say to you, check this out, it will be more bearable on the day of judgment for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah than for that town. Think about that.
That's serious.
It will be more bearable for Sodom and Gomorrah than for you, who the law, statutes, commandments, and the heritage of the Most High was made for, and you reject it. Think about that. That's something to think about. That's something to, what's it called? Shalah on. Seriously. Pause and reflect. But that's it, family.
Sorry, I have to say that right there is testimony to what we're living right now. How much peace they have in a destroyed world, and we're just fighting to serve God, to serve the Most High. We're just fighting, but our children and our family members are seeing more of this poor acceptance of what we're supposed to be representing as God's children. And it's accepted, and people, we're visual people, but we don't realize that our vision is so limited,
Yep.
so that we get stuck on those tangibles, what we can see and touch, and we think this is it, and that's not it. It's just limited beyond the five senses that we have: our eyes, our sight, our smell, our touch. Yeah, so that verse right there, that was just, it takes precedence of everything that's happening now, and also brings relevance that, yes, this is all coming to an end quickly. Quickly.
Praise the Most
Yeah.
High. I know.
Thank you.
My brother Dame, I was just talking to him the other day. We were both saying, well, he was saying how he's like, yeah, I'm always on AlJazeera.com looking at what's going on in the world and what's happening in Syria and all of these other places. And I told him, I said, man, I do the same thing. I do the same thing because a lot of what is happening right now is spoken about in the word. All these things that are going to take place, before judgment and before we're rescued and all of these things. So when I see these things being played out, not saying that I'm happy over people's demise, never that. I'm always upset when anyone, has to, see some type of terrible end or whatever the case may be. I mean, we already know the judgments of the Most High are going to be upon the nations, this and that, whatever. But me personally, that's not my thing to start, just glorying over somebody's demise. I just can't do that. But I mean, these things are coming upon the earth. Judgments are coming. We're seeing famines and pestilences. We're seeing all of these things happening in the earth. And, it's just a testament to the truth of what the Most High said was going to happen. And so when I see these things, I know that, just like Hamashiach told us to look up, for our redemption draws near. Right? And as we says, when you see these things happening, Matthew 24 and Luke 21, you see all of these things taking place. He says to look up, for your redemption draws near. But he also says, make sure that we are found worthy to stand before him, and worthy of what does he say? Let me see, Luke 21. Luke 21 and 34. Actually, no, Luke 21 and 36. To Yahshua, Luke 21 and 36. He says,
What was the verse?
Luke 21. Actually, I'm going to start at verse 34. I'm going to read 34 to 36. So Luke 21, starting at verse 34. He says, so when we see these things coming upon the earth and these things happening, he says, verse 34, but watch yourselves, unless your hearts be weighed down with dissipation or corruption or perversion and drunkenness and cares of this life, and that day come upon you suddenly like a trap. Verse 35, for it will come upon all who dwell on the face of the whole earth. Verse 36, but stay awake at all times, praying that you may have strength to escape all these things that are going to take place and to stand before the Son of Man. So that's what Yasharal is supposed to be doing. When we see these things, we don't have to be, ooh, blah, 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 I'm just that, whatever, such and such, but he tells us to stay awake, be vigilant, and pray that you are worthy to stand before him, and worthy to escape all of these things that will come upon the earth. That's what we want. When the tribulation comes, we don't want to be in the midst of that, right? We want to be with the Father. So we have to pray to escape all of these things by also being worthy of the Most High. So it's a nice little script to end off on. So any comments, questions, concerns, or anything of that nature for anybody? This was truly Barak. I hate using the word bless, that be less stuff. I don't know whether it means something or not. I don't know, but I usually say Barak. But anyway, anyone have anything?
Yo, it was like you said, it was a Barak. It was wild. You saying that? I thought about the other day when I was saying that. But now this was good, man. It was a delight to the heart and the mind, man, and the spirit. You know what I mean? For this coming together, long awaited.
All praises.
I thank you for opening up this platform for me. being here in North Carolina, I could say like, it's disappointing that I can't hear the truth and get knowledge, like I was in New York. New York is filled with a lot of things, but there's a constant presence of people sharing the word and knowledge on different corners of the street in the neighborhood. And it's just been missing. I go to church here. Not that I'm aligned with it. You just go for to say you go, to catch something. But I knew, I shared with Marsha that I was just missing something, and connecting to who I am and really hearing the truth and being reminded who the Most High is. I miss that. So I thank you for opening up this space and sharing and opening up this discussion and actually sticking to scripture. It means everything to my well-being and me being living the life that the Most High wants me to live. This means a lot. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
All praises, all praises. There's no sis, we here, as you see on this Zoom call, we got plenty family. Trust me, this ain't it. We got plenty family. So like I said, we all just, we aren't here doing the same thing, just trying to be, obedient children to the Most High. So all praises, and again, thank the Most High that you came on as well, and for everybody, all the comments and everybody. Again, this is exactly what me personally I desire to happen. Just we just in the living room. I just see it. We just in the living room talking. You know what I mean? Just sharing and building. That's what we're doing. We're building the nation. One brick at it, building back the nation one brick at a time. So that's what I see it. So everything helps. Everything, every comment, every question, whatever, such and such, everything helps. Because I may be off on some things, and somebody can show me a script, this now, whatever, and point me back on the right path. I don't claim to know it all. I don't claim, you know what I mean? So but what I do know, whatever the Most High gives me according to these scripts, I will share. And if I don't have an answer, maybe someone else does. And I have plenty of ox and sisters to go to that I can, ask myself as well. So all praises. That's what we hear, family. That's what family's supposed to do. Praises. Anyone else?
Brother, this was good. Glad you decided to do this.
All praise. Look, I'm gonna be honest, man. There's a lot of, the Most High sent a lot of people my way. He really did. Because like I said, I'm good just chilling. I'm good just chilling on the side and listening the whole 9 yards. I'm chilling, but I gotta put it out there, I give people their flowers, but I ain't gonna front. When I sat with Thomas and Jennifer on the phone at their house, and what's crazy is on the way driving there, my son and I, Yadam, we were talking about how the Most High was using people to speak to me about opening up a platform again and this and that or whatever. And I just was like, I get it, but hey, Most High, I just want to chill, you know what I'm saying? But we were on the way to their house, and we were speaking about that in the car, right? And then we get to their house and we're talking and we're sharing this and that and we're building. And then I got to do it just like she did it. I got to do it just like she did it, right? I have my glasses with me, but we're talking, and after we're talking, right, she just got real serious. She just got real serious on me, and she crossed her legs and she took off her glasses and she said, "Brother, I'm just going to be real with you." And I was like, "Yo," my heart just I was like, "Yo, what happened?" She's like, "I'm gonna be real with you," and she's like, I can't remember verbatim what she said, but sis, you could tell it. But she said basically like, why aren't you teaching? She's like, why?
Basically.
That's basically what she said. And she was like, she was loving, but at the same time, it was stern. It was just to the point. Like I couldn't refute it at that point. You know what I mean? I really, really couldn't. And, in the car driving, I'm talking to my son about it. I'm like, dang, Most High is no joke. Like even when we were there, when she started talking, he started laughing because we had just been talking about it. So I mean, I don't know if it's a long time coming or whatever the case may be. If this is what the Most High wants me to do, then so be it. Like I said, I just want to build with my people. That's it. I love the Most High. I love our people. And I just like he wants the best for us. I just want the best for our people. And the best thing for us is, him, the text as he gives it to us, and his spirit, and that's it. And for us to fellowship and to reason together. So, thank the Most High for her and Thomas being obedient to the spirit, and and speaking to me, and again, speaking to me in love, because that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? So I thank the Most High for them as well. That's as well as for all of you. Again, thanking y'all for coming on. So, like I said, we're gonna do this every week as the Most High gives us utterance and as the Most High wills. So with that, I'm gonna have I'm Dez, I'm gonna have you because you've been riding with me for a long time, brothers. For a long time.
Man.
That's my man right there. Yeah, Captain rocking with us since 2004, and we've come into this thing together. So I thank the Most High for him as well. But I'm have you end us off in prayer, bro.
Okay. All right. I'm with that.
Oh, hold on, Des.
Mhm.
Can you lift up everybody? I don't know if everybody knows Josh and Fatima. The baby is on the way, so if you could lift them up
All praises, all
in the
praise.
prayer.
That's
She's in labor.
Oh, wow, all praises. Oh, absolutely. That's an automatic go. You don't got to tell me twice on that. Wow, that's awesome. I'm excited for them both. All praises. All right. All praises. We just come before you. Some just know how I truly thankful, things great, small. Oh man, it's a delight to get amongst, our people here, fellowship, and just no nonsense. It's just us building in your scripts and just coming together like minds and just allowing you to pour in, Father. Just thank you and praise you for that, Father. Pray, the words that were shared, concerning your scripts. Pray, it really it takes root. Pray, seeds is planted and it bear forth much fruit, Father. Continually be in the midst of your people. Cover those that are going to different buyouts and assemblies. Pray you preserve and keep your people on the highways and byways and as well. Again, pray that word came forth as double-edged swords to your people. Pray your sheep hear thy voice, Father. Someone prays well for my young Yashaya and his wife, his rib. I forgot her Hebrew name. Fatima, I'm gonna call her, just call her by her regular Deadwood name. Just pray, preserve and keep her, Father, and labor. Pray, preserve that child in the position of her giving birth to that child. Pray he come out okay, with no hurt, harm, no defects, no nothing. Just a wholesome, healthy child, and could be in the midst of them both with the journey of raising this little child, and that he would get if he, of course, become of age. He'll keep these laws, statutes, commandments, as well as teach the generation after him. We just thank you and praise you, Father, for life and just for everything, Father, that's been given onto your people. And continue to pray we be those lights onto you, continue to purge up the things that don't belong. I know myself, I'll battle with different things, but continue to pray. I'm seeking you on whole to be purged so that I may truly be a light to the full as I'm called to be. And we just pray, we all just continually strive for that and continually learn of your ways, getting in a deeper place, seeking more knowledge and understanding, and being in that place of humility of heart and mind. Let's continually have your way as you see fit, Abba, and the full will partake in. Pray you bless it, pray you prepare, pray you want to prepare, pray you bless their hands, pray you remove their hands, pray they continue to do these things in your love, Father. We just thank you and praise you, and just continue to be with us throughout the week, and let's continue to just have your way, and praise well for our families. Again, we continue to be those lights, and just pray those who have ears that hear, they will draw nigh as you draw them out, Father. If they inquire, as we share the hope that's with us, we share with fear and trembling. And just thank you and praise you, Father. Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shah, Hamas name, pray, Allah, Yah, our Father which art in heaven, Holy and Kadesh is your name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us bread all day. Forgive us our debts as we forgive about their tours. Lead us not to destruction or judgment, how deliver us from all evil. For God's kingdom, power, glory forever. Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shai, my name, pray, love Yah.
Come on. All praise, family. Family, love y'all. Pray the Most High will Barak y'all.
Love y'all too.
And again, family, we'll be back on next week to do it again. Love y'all, family. Shalom.
Love you,
Love you.
Shalom.
Bye.
Love you guys.
Love you
Thank you
all.
so much. It was
Shalom.
great.
All praises.
Yes. All right.